kids to bed. Say it loud. check it out. I'll put your back down, son, and raise your arm to the vicious hump. You got it, keep humping. Hump it up. See, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a humper by his toe. If he's humping, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Test that stereo.
Starting now. It's time for the full 180.
Yep. You know what it is. It's time for that full 180. We ain't here, the full 180 Convo. The family's in the building. You got listen to my boy, my big brother, Mr. DJ Legends, man. Make sure you check him out on all social media sites. We're back on here. It's Monday, and you know it's time to motivate you with another great topic from the full 180, from the whole crew. Look, I know we running a little bit behind, but guess what? We're going to bypass church announcements. I know y'all want to hear Casey Estelle and these announcements. Of course, L Boogie is still in the building, along with Casey Estelle. Dr. B, she's in a couples therapy with her PhD today. So, we'll see her next time. I promise you. But let's go and get into the show, man. I got my family in the building. You know, I'll never do it by myself. And because we are doing couples therapy, I got couples in the building. Yes, so to my left, put your hands together for the new fiance of Pretty Pastor Reggie. Like I said, for today, he's going to be Waylon. Put your hands together for Waylon's lovely fiance, Miss CC. And then all the way, man, I had to go back. You know what I'm saying? Not too far back. I had to get them cool people, them cool parents. My uncle, my aunt, Mr. Kevin, and Dina Grimes. They are in the building. All right. So, look, man, we're going to do couples therapy. Why did I call this couples therapy? Because, you know, it's Valentine's Day. Everybody talking about love and XYZ, and this is going on, and that is going on. So, I don't know what's going on with that camera. But we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about couples therapy. Because, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know it's love season, but y'all ain't always been in love. So, we're going to find out. You know, help these couples, because somebody may be going through it right now. He at home right now trying to figure out how I'm going to get out the doghouse so I can get out the house.
Out the house.
You know what I'm saying? What's the method to the madness? So, look, I'm going to start here. So, yes. I'm calling you Kevin. I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. You know, it's family. How long you been with this lovely woman?
It's been about 15 years. Married?
Yeah.
15 years.
Okay, how long you was chasing that woman?
Ooh, a long time.
Come on, long time.
Already.
You know, our story is quite unique because it's been about 35. 35. We first met. We met at a church function, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was 15. I was older than 15.
All right.
She was like one of the attendees, and I was a chaperone.
Oh.
Chaperone.
But I ain't touch it. Okay. I just looked.
A lot. I looked a lot.
So that's kind of how we met.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Auntie, what made this fine man delectable?
Delectable.
You know.
Well, you know,
Gay.
when I saw him, you know, he just stood out. One thing I can say about Kevin, can I take this off?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because I'm hearing an echo. But one thing about him is that even at a young age, he was always a gentleman. I mean, I can truly say that he was raised right. But you know, when you have an instant connection with someone, it's just like, I saw him and I just thought that he was just the most handsome thing on that campus.
He was fine.
He was just fine. That's when he had hair. He had hair. He had a little flat top, little fade.
All right.
You know.
Get it play.
Y'all may not can visualize that, but
there you go. Come on, True.
But no, he was just but even though there was an attraction, but it was almost, you can kind of tell that he was like, I'm attracted to you, but I know this is just kind of a hands-off situation, and so we had mutual friends.
Okay.
Because he was older than me, but some of his friends grew up with me. So, but one thing I can say about him is that how when you give it your friends after you meet somebody that's real cute, ooh, girl, ooh, he cute, what's his story, and but I mean, and even until this day. I mean, after 35 years, I have never heard anyone say anything bad about it. And that's when I knew that, okay, he's a good guy. And so we became friends because that's all we could be. Because I lived in a strict home with a mother named Geraldine.
Geraldine. That name itself. That name itself is like
Miss Geraldine. No. And she did not play at all. But I will tell you, probably out of all the boyfriends I've had in my lifetime, and she couldn't stand none of them. But this guy right here, I don't know what he said or what he did, but it was just like, come on in. It's she just invited him into our world, and it was history after that. We became good friends, and one thing that I really can say is that he is truly my best friend. He knows everything about me. There's no secrets.
And he know how you get on his nerves too, right?
Oh yeah.
We gonna find out. We gonna find out today.
No, look, he's cute, but he do get on my nerves.
Okay, all right. So, brother Waylon. Ooh, boy, that hurt to say that. Yeah, we call him Waylon today. I don't know. Pastor Pretty Rich, I can't do it. Brother, tell me, when was the day you seen all this chocolate sitting in the corner and you said, I gotta have it? Come on, brother, tell me about it.
Well, go on and preach the word.
She see like, boy, watch yourself.
Well, I think it was more so, because she's always doing her lives all the time, as far as her motivational speaking on Facebook. So our circle was always connected, but we never really came in connection with each other. So through Facebook, I just kept seeing. I'm like, man, this is a powerful young lady that's just just speaking the word of God pretty much all the time. So I'm at work, got my phone up and I'm working, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm getting motivated on Monday and on Wednesday I'm getting some word.
What, she gave you some wisdom?
Yeah.
Come on, CC.
Got it looking at it at work.
Yeah. Yeah. So that word came through, and just me just really admiring her. I went in on a friendship basis first because just like how you guys said it, and we've been saying it all along. Everything should be built off of friendship, because that allows you to really learn an individual, and like you said, as a friend, as a real good friend, as a real good best friend, you're not going to have any secrets. You're going to be transparent with each other. You want to know each other like that's your best friend, and it should be your best friend. So we just kind of went along. I supported her at her book launch events when she's an author, so I went out to her book launch events. She spoke at some other places. I went out there and it's
you were stalking.
You
were stalking on the side.
No.
Pretty red. Stop it. Just stalking
Just like Arthur says, I was looking, but I didn't touch. I was looking from afar. So I had a real good visual interpretation of what I wanted in the get-go. But it turned into something because we went out a couple of times. We went down to Sandaga's and just different places down. So we really started learning each other. And a lot of stuff, just kind of came in common. And what's crazy is we had, just even fast forward to our relationship, we stopped talking to each other for a while, for about a year, but the thing is, like, she was dating people, I was dating, dating someone, and it's just.
I like how you made
I'm sorry, people. I didn't mean to say that. She was dating somebody. I was dating somebody.
I didn't want to say
I know. I called it because I know.
we were.
He gotta go home with her. Leave her alone. Go ahead, brother.
We were interested in other people, but at the same time, we were real still good friends. And then it just, we really got reconnected again. Actually, we told somebody earlier today. They said once the COVID shut down, you know, it was a good chance to kind of get shut down. You know,
Got you.
You got a chance to see some things clearly. You know,
I see. Well, Cece, go on tell her what you see, what you seen good in Pastor.
Well, can y'all hear me? Because I can't.
You can't hear me?
hear myself, so I just want to make sure
Yeah.
I can be heard. Okay. Well, he would always show up to everything. And it wasn't, I didn't take it as like, what was this dude? He never came across creepy. He would just show up and he would show up and be super supportive, you know, just be in the building. Hey, I just came by, you know, check and just let you know I'm coming to support. And they was like, okay, that's cool.
Go ahead.
Okay. But he would show up to everything. First being my birthday dinner, anything we did with the salon, you know, he would just kind of peek his head in. And so I was like, okay, cool. You're really, really, really nice guy. He would drop by on Saturday mornings, check on me. Hey, you need anything? You good? This, that, and the other. But it was always just, that's my friend. And we were good. I was good with the friendship because at the time, I just wasn't ready for anything. And I just was like, I don't want to get myself somewhere that I'm not ready to be just yet. So we just stayed good friends. We would go hang out, like you said, all the time. We would just, I say, hey, they got such and such going on down in Deep Bellum. Hey, let's go to San Dollars. Hey, I know this new restaurant. And we would meet up. Sometimes we ride together, and it just naturally formed. I got to see him in his most natural element. It wasn't about putting on a facade or meeting somebody's representative. I genuinely knew Reggie, the Waylon, I know Reggie D, you know, all that other stuff. I know every aspect, Pastor Pretty Reggie. And it just grew from there. And we did stop talking for about a year. I got my feelings and I got married.
Dig your feelings.
I was waiting on
Here we go.
I got 100% in my feelings. We have both gone through a very, very rough patch. He had lost his mom. And I subsequently, 2 weeks later, lost 2 weeks after your mom passed, after you buried her. My sister was tragically killed, and we were kind of dealing with the reality of what was going on, and I was more angry about my sister, but I took it out of him because I was like, he was supposed to be here. I needed him one day, and he wasn't where I needed him to be as a friend. And I got angry, and I got mad at him. I'm like, I don't want to see you again. When you see me on the street, act like you don't know me. Don't say nothing to me.
That's what you wanted, huh?
I didn't give him a chance. Look, and we good. We are good. And I didn't give him a chance to say anything. I hung up the phone and left it at that. So
that's the nice version.
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get to all the ugly stuff in a minute. You know.
But long story short, everything came back around and came together once things settled down. And you realize what someone has been to you, when they've been supportive, he's been excessively loyal as a friend outside of that one event. And that was because there were some things going on with him that he hadn't even shared with me from a friendship standpoint. So I was like, why didn't you say anything? You know, I would have never reacted that way had I have known what was going on. So nonetheless, I love the fact that Reggie is excessively loyal. He's super supportive. He is a man like super loves the Lord, and that was like fundamental for me. Like, you got to have your own relationship with God. Your relationship with God can't be veiled because I said so. It's not about you getting up going to church. I mean, like, do you have a prayer life? Do you read the Word? You know, where are you at? I need to know when I'm in a zone or I'm in a place where I can't fully pray. You know, can you pray for me? Without me just necessarily saying, can you pray for me? I need you to see it and say, you know what, I'm covering you. And that's what he has always been. So that's what made him. And plus, the man is just absolutely fine. But that's what made him.
I got sick real good. He just paused.
He was out the leg.
All right, so we done got into the little background. Yeah, we done got to the little background and how y'all met, all that good dice stuff. So let's go and get down to nitty gritty. What is the obstacle that came apart in your relationship that you looked at her and said, you know what, I'm about done. I'm about done. And this obstacle that happened, how'd you get over it? That many, huh? It don't matter. That many, huh? It don't matter. Whoever want to start.
You know, well,
Just one.
When we got back together after, like 20-something years apart, she lived in another city. And I lived here, and so there were some times where I'm like, dude, I don't know. It was like, I can't keep making these weekend trips, putting all these miles on my vehicle. And I didn't have a job.
Wow.
I was on unemployment.
You was with a brother with no child.
No job.
Come on. See, black women are aight. Go ahead, brother.
No job. So there were a few times I'm like, nah, I don't know if I want to do this.
So at this time, Auntie, you lived in Austin, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you, if I'm not mistaken, you had my sisters with you at that point, or I had one of them.
No, I had both.
Oh, you had both.
I had both.
So you was going to see a lady in Austin with 2 kids.
2 kids and no job.
Boy, look. So even though you had it in your head, like, man, this ain't gonna work, bro. What made you continue to want to pursue?
She has good sugar.
Mm.
Explain that shit.
Yeah. I'm waiting on the explanation. What is the explanation? Please explain to me. Everybody got pen and paper. I need it.
Look, she and I have always, we've always connected, right? Even after like 20-something years. And this whole mama piece, I had to be a mama whisperer, but I couldn't get her to tell me where she was.
Okay.
Here you go. Come on. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
So, I've been married before. Of course, I have 2 kids. I've been in previous relationships, but there were times when he would come into town, even though I lived out of town,
Mm-hmm.
and he would come to my mom's house. And, you know, he would come with the hopes that she would kind of divulge, you know, where I was or what was I doing or what have you. But, of course, she would just end up talking to him. And, of course, that information never came about, even though she knew that I was in not so great situations. But she felt like that wasn't her place. She knew it. You know, she knew that he was a good guy. She liked him a lot. But she's like, you know what? She's married. So I can't tell you where she is, you know, what have you. So she respected that, even though she didn't agree with it, but she respected it. And, of course, therefore, he, you know, respected it as well and just would go away sorrowful, I guess.
I say he wanted to. I don't care if you married. Tell that brother, as soon as you leave, it's on.
I'm getting there. I'm going back in.
I'm ready.
One of the times we was gonna stop by Mama's house and she was gonna be ready.
So don't touch on too much, but even with that transition, you knew she was married before, she had kids. How did that push you further? Did that put you in a mindset of like more thinking like, I don't know, or did it make you want to continue like, oh, I can do that?
Oh, you know, you have your times when you vacillate. Because I don't have any children. I don't have any biological children. So the age where I was at that time, I was thinking about kids. And but something, you know, God give you what you need, not what you want.
Boy.
And
Said a
so I got to thinking, because I love my girls. Can't anybody tell me they ain't mine.
You right.
Okay.
And we will shoot behind
We
you.
might squab, you know. But after a while, and you fall in love with the girls, and I was already loving her, that just made it easier. And they good kids. They good. Cause I got some homeboys. It ain't turned out so well. Dude, she got 2 kids.
So Michael Burker.
You sure? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm good.
So Auntie, so let me ask you this. So, okay, he's still pursuing you. What was the factor? And then I got to get to Waylon now. Excuse me, pretty Pastor Rich. What was the factor that made you want to move up out of Austin and come to him?
Well, one, nothing was really holding me in Austin. I didn't have any family there. I moved for a reason that really didn't have anything to do with me. I was married to someone else that was pursuing a career in Austin. Fortunately for me, I have a career in healthcare where I can work anywhere. So my career is very versatile where, you know, I've always had a job. I've never been without a job, thank God. And so I felt like there was nothing holding me there. It wasn't like I had brothers and sisters in Austin. I mean, I had developed, you know, really great relationships, but if I had to say that was holding me there, no, because at the end of the day, I was going to be with the man of my dreams.
There you go.
And so, I got a little pushback, like, oh, well, girl, why you got to be the one to move? You the one with the kids. He should be moving here. He should be doing this and this and that or whatever. But he was a teacher. He was in education. And as you know, sometimes, in education, it's not as easy to find a job right away. So I had to take all of that into consideration. Now, my girls were young, and as you know, with kids, they're pretty resilient. Sydney was really young, and my oldest daughter, she was old enough at the time, it kind of disturbed her a little bit, but she made her adjustments and it all turned out fine. But I had to look at everything. I had to weigh, okay, well, how is this long term? Is this going to affect them? What type of roots we have established or whatever? What am I disrupting? And really and truthfully, it was a God move. It was truly a God thing. I came right in, with the job, got a place. I mean, everything was just falling into place. And once I got here and, started, having friends and, going to church and everything, it just seemed like it just fit. It just worked. And the girls they just went to school and kind of got right in line. It was, like I said, it was a little bit of an adjustment for Kelsey, but for the most part, they just got right in line, and it just fell into place, and we were a family. I was already connected with his family here, which, they were a great support in the transition. So it was good. It was good, and I didn't have any regrets about my decision. Again, I caught some flack about it, but it's like, you do what you have to do for you. And I did a lot, when I tell you, I did a lot of praying for God to show me and give me guidance on this. And, what appeared to be one way to other people, God was leading me
somewhere else.
He had me all the way. I don't think I ever drove a big U-Haul truck in my life, but here we are, these kids in this big U-Haul truck.
On the road again.
And we on the road to Dallas. And, I would come here, just for conventions and for business and stuff like that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I never thought I would see the day when I would be living in Dallas. I grew up in Houston all my life, from the hood, sunny side, and I never thought I would see the likes of Dallas, Texas, living here. And I got here and I absolutely loved it, and I loved him, and I loved the direction that my life was going. And there's some more to it as well, even the spiritual piece. It was just so many awakenings and transitions and transformations going on in my life that I needed, coming up from where I was, coming out of a bad, relationship, divorce, and just abandonment, just all types of things. And I was a little broken, but even in the midst of our connection, there was a place where I had to not just that I was reconnecting with him, but I was reconnecting with Dina. I was reconnecting with myself, relearning me, so I could give him the best version of myself.
Come on now. We're going to jump on that love part, because I want to know when you fell out of love with him. Yeah, we're going to get real bad today. So,
I don't know if
my
that's
brother, I'm I'm gonna start with first. We got two first ladies in the house. First lady, come on, first lady. Cece. You know, y'all gotta stay. I like Cece. I ain't even met her, but the first I heard her voice, I was like, boy, that girl, there. But if y'all have seen her at the party, all I'm gonna say is these two. Like, I had to go outside and shed a tear. Like, man, I miss mine, bro. But I mean, not really miss mine, but I mean, I'm just saying. But the connection y'all have at that party, bro, that's unconventional. So, besides what you got in your feelings, y'all got back together with this fine specimen. Now, since we connected, that's my brother. I can say that. But what was the day he got on your nerves? It was like, look, I can't and won't. Time for you to go.
Honestly, we haven't had that time.
Really?
We don't have that time. We don't.
You never had a moment of like, nah, this ain't gonna work.
No.
So do you think it's because y'all were so like
Friends before.
So that if y'all seen each other in the raw, y'all seen each other in the naked.
There you go.
Y'all seen each other.
There you go. That raw and that naked.
Yeah. I know when he's not like when he turned his lip a certain way, he kind of cocked to the side like, okay, what's going on here?
And those are things you noticed in him being a friend.
As a friendship, you know, I know that if Waylon gets in his feelings about something, he gonna be there for a minute. You know, you gotta let him put on his church music, let the Lord soothe him and woo him back down. Okay. You know, and to be like, seriously, I just got to where I've known him, and I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be a time that's not going to come. But we haven't had that, because here was the thing, us coming into the relationship, one thing we made very clear when we came and put on the table what our non-negotiables were. I'm not coming into this teetering and tottering, and I'm not coming to this with emotional issues and us going back and forth and arguing like we too old. I've been through enough. I've been married before. I've gone through abandonment. I've gone through abuse. I've gone through all that. So I'm not coming into any other space expecting anything less than us to have a good, healthy relationship. And if we can't have that, then we do not need to even attempt to move forward in it. If we can't, you know, if on your worst day you can't bring yourself back to the friendship, then we can't do this. Because I'm not gonna live my life toxic. I'm not gonna. We're done that. We know what that looked like. So everything was about communication. And it's not like we don't have days where I'm like, okay, I need a moment. Just give me a minute. I'm quiet today. You know, just give me a minute.
So he ain't been on that last nerve.
No, he's never been on that last nerve. Now I have been on his.
Oh yeah, we finna get into that. We finna get there. Cause truth be told, when I said about the party, I was like, boy, how many days you sat in the room? Like, nah. He was like, real talk.
Yeah.
So brother, let's go. Tell me about this. Just name. Just tell me one. Don't tell me the sorts.
Well, I think like for me, a lot of things that may have tried to cause separation was, and I talked about this on the show before, was things that I have gone through. And sometimes, you know, my sister even said this a long time ago, and I said, you made some sense. It's like, because you've been hurt so much, you don't know where your help is. You know, and it's like, you don't even realize what you've actually been through until you actually see something, and it's like, man, like I can't even recognize that. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you have a child that's kind of grown up in poverty, you know, and you know, when you put them on the other side of the track, you know, they're not really comfortable until they start kind of getting adjusted and like, okay, yeah, I can kind of roll with this, and you know, because that's not what I've been accompanied with. That's not what I've been used to. So, you know, recognizing like if we have those disagreements and those miscommunications, and me like just want to just fire off at her, it's like I have to realize, no, that's not really her. That's actually what I've been through. You know, and just like, okay, well, taking that time to really sit back and reflect, because that's what I do. Like if I get really, really heated, I have to sit. I got to sit. Come on, because I can't. You know, I don't want to say something that I regret. You know, and then that goes off into a whole nother, you know, a whole nother topic and a whole nother situation. So I rather, because I care for her so much, let me just sit and think before I just react. You know, and so that's the patience that I've learned. You know, just through the years, because I haven't always been the greatest guy in a relationship. I've done, my fair share in in relationships. So, when she said, we look at the non-negotiables, we know what the bad things that we've done in past relationships, and we know what the good things we've done. So it's like, okay, being able to talk about those things and coming together and say, hey, this is my standard, this is your standard, and we kind of meet each other in the middle or meet each other at the top. We're going to meet each other somewhere, but in the midst of the meeting, we always have some kind of open communication and dialogue to make sure that we're on the same page, every time. It's
fair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to, like, I'll give you a prime example. Last week we were having a conversation, and he was, this weekend he did a whole surprise party. So
did a good job too, bro.
Different for a couple of days. He was just doing things differently. He was operating outside of his norm. Everybody has their norms. It's not saying that you expect for him like you got to check in with me. I don't keep tabs. I run a business, so I can't keep tabs and do that. We just have to maintain good communication. But the communication changed, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Because
you thought he was dipping.
no,
That's the word.
That's the word. Let's bring this back around.
You see that alley-oop? I knew he was gonna dunk it.
And so as we sit there, somebody just
Knew he was gonna dunk it. I was waiting.
I'm gonna this one again. Gasoline on the fire.
That's my brother.
So I used the word that he associated with me saying, like, I'm accusing you of dipping and being somewhere with someone else. What I wanted to understand from him when he had gotten to the salon and picked me up, and the day the evening was done, and I've kind of been there for a minute, like, that's not him to do or operate this way. So he gets there, and I'm looking at him like, well, is there something you need to tell me? He was like, what you mean? I was like, is there anything that I need to know that I don't know about? Like, is something going on as to why you're doing things differently? Because this is not what we normally do. I didn't say that. I just said, is there anything you need to tell me? Assuming he understood what I meant. He took it totally different. Then he turned around and said, I said, because you've been kind of dipping off. And he was like, what you mean?
Got in your feelings, bro?
You say something, that word, when you say dipping, that's an automatic click in our head, like,
it's a trigger.
Yeah, and I didn't mean it.
Especially when you know you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, and I didn't mean it by that. For me, when I said dip off, I was saying
Dipping from the relationship. You're varying from what we
normally do. You're varying from the normal routine. This is a different shift. So I'm like, you're unaccounted for a little bit of time. Like, where you dip, where you going off to, you on the map for a minute, and for the next, like, okay, where did he go to? He dipped off, and he's back on. So that's what I meant by that. And we had to sort through words to get to an understanding that that's not what I meant. And I told him, I said, well, if I felt like it was somebody else, I would come and directly ask you, are you seeing someone else? That is a direct question. I don't like, and I think that's something that we have to really learn in relationships. Don't infer anything. If I ask directly what you mean, now even in that conversation, I should have just came and said, hey, I'm noticing you moving differently. I'm noticing you're doing some things different. Is it something that I'm unaware of as to why? And had he ever said, listen, woman, it's about this weekend, so just mind your business, He didn't. It got lost in translation with words. My choice of words weren't good, and I realized that. So, but he went.
Sir.
When she said the word, the
P.
Come on, P.
I can see your face.
Say.
Boy, you went from light skin to red, didn't you?
No, he was like,
because I'm just like, you have no idea what I've been doing and what I'm trying to make sure.
Right.
We talk every day.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a mention. I think I almost blew it online the other night.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And I said, is she listening? I said, oh, no.
Because she was like, what time is the party? I was like, no.
Right. And it's funny, because we were all talking, because he told us we can come, and I was like, well, you didn't send nobody the address, bro. How are we supposed to come? So,
I didn't see the end of the show because y'all feed cut out. And I said, hey, I didn't see the end of the show.
I'm sorry.
Won't he do it? We're going to start cutting her mic off. L Boogie doesn't doing it all.
Really won't he?
L Boogie was supposed to blow the whole surprise.
So let me ask this, and then we're going to take a quick break. Let me ask this question. So do you think it's because I use this terminology, like people talking about, well, I don't want to be in love. My thing is that I'm commanded by God to love you, but I need to know if I can wake up every day and like you. So I have this terminology when I always say I'm looking for that best friend type of love. Do you, in your own words, can you explain that?
Best friend type of love?
Best friend type of love. According to your own situation. Because I know everybody's situation is different. But,
This, the best friend type of love we got is just total and outright support of each other. I mean, and it's support, it's respect, it's toleration. You know, because sometimes we may not like each other, but at the same time, there is a best friend love, because I think we said something on the show the other day when we was talking about, you know, being able to criticize your person without them being, you know, offended, but like, well, what you trying to say? Right. You know, she can criticize me, I can criticize her, and we won't really get in our feelings, because it's like we know we trying to make each other stronger and beat each other up into whatever progress we're trying to get to.
So, you answer the same question. Because, see, I know y'all two. You don't see one without the other. Y'all see they here matching. I like, boy.
I like that.
And we didn't know. Because I was doing a Zoom before I came here.
Yes, sir.
And I had my stuff phones upstairs. I came downstairs, bam.
You just look at him and be like, boy, look at that.
And I just want to vibe off what Becky just stated.
Yes, sir.
People understand there are patterns in relationships.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And when you have a pattern, and that pattern has a certain energy, and when you feel something and you know something ain't right, you gotta get it right. And it may be a while or whatever, you just because you're trying to make sure that it is what it is. But when you know it's what it is, you just call it for what it is, right? One thing I've had to learn to say is I'm sorry and I apologize. And that was just kind of difficult at certain points in times, because you know we're gonna be men, you know, that ain't me.
Hold on, why I gotta be stubborn though? I'm playing.
I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, I mean, but it comes to a point to where if you hurt somebody and you know they're hurting, and you know you had something to do with it, you just gonna go ahead and say, I apologize. And just keep it rolling, because you don't want that animosity. Yeah, we love each other. We don't always like each other sometimes, but we love each other, and we love each other despite the flaws. And when I wake up in the morning, hey, when I wake up in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, and I see her, and I see she's all good. She got like angelic face. And I'm good. I just get up and I keep rolling. I never leave the house without kissing her.
Okay.
I leave the house, and she'll know. She can sleep pretty hard, but she'll know if I did not. And she'll call me, say, "You can kiss me back," because anything can happen.
Yes, it can.
That's right.
Man, for sure.
You never go to bed angry. You never do this.
We try not to.
You try not to? Hey, I'll let you chime in, Miss. You know, real quick, man. Hey, then what you, that best friend type of love? Because, you know, y'all thick as thieves. You know, you always tell me, ooh, your uncle leave. Can't no brother get this. No brother.
Nobody.
I'm just like, man.
Nobody.
He can't even come in. Hey, how you doing?
No. don't even talk to me. No, I mean, when you, I don't know. I mean, like I said, we have our little, you know, things, but for the most part, like you said earlier about, you know, the respect. I have the utmost respect for him. We both have very strong personalities. Very vocal about how we feel. Sometimes we get opinionated, and we can be in a conversation that's just really intense. You know, even now on our way here, we talking about different things. Even with his Zoom that he was on, and we just have an intensity. But when it comes to him, not anybody else, but when it comes to him, there's just some things that I'm not going to say to him.
That's right. That's right.
Even if I feel it in my heart.
I'm not gonna say it.
But I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna reserve, because words can just I tell you, words can just tear up everything.
Yeah,
And you can have the best relationship, but that one wrong thing that's said can just tear down 20 years. That one wrong thing. It takes a second to just ruin. Even when you're dealing with clients or whatever, it takes one thing.
That's right.
So that's my rule of thumb. It takes one thing. So the way I deal with him is different than that I may deal with, someone else. You don't know me, so I may have to just go ahead and just vocalize it and get your toes right quick and then move on. But with him, this is my boo. This is my boo thing right here. Okay, and I dare not, say something that is going to be harmful to our relationship. Now, when he's wrong, I'll tell him. Hey, you're wrong. Now, I'm not so to the point where, I'm shy about it. I have to go ahead and get off my chest eventually. But sometimes what I do is I'm reserved. I can be upset. I'll wait a few days because I'm real intense. It's like I'm either real cool.
Absolutely.
I'm not mediocre. I'm not in the middle. I'm not lukewarm. I'm not even that kind of friend. I either love you real hard or I don't.
And let me tell you, she is definitely blood of mine. When she don't deal with you, she don't deal with you. Look, man, we're going to take a quick break. I know we're going over. We got time. Start a little later. Keep it locked right here. More music, more radio. It's the Couples Therapy. We got questions after this. We're going to see how these men and women dealt with this alpha in both of them. When somebody head got a little stronger than the other. You just put your foot there? Or you just like, whatever. We're going to get into it, man. On the side of this. Let's go.
Can you make about a booty? Like 1,000. Ooh, girl, you gon' learn that they gon' get this pounding. I'm not finished, I'ma hit it in the shower. So get the thing to the booty, ready to get into it. I'm out here, babe. You with lame-o. They just copy me. They work at Convo. Tell your big friend, come give me them Cankos. Tell her her eyes and her legs gon' be in back of her head. I can't even imagine what your DM look like. I see the future, you what my BM look like. Say you got a man that don't even look right, but I know you be creeping, girl, I see you tonight. Just give me 30 minutes, baby, I'll be on the way. Just keep that on display. You think I'm getting booed up, baby, oh no, not today. I'm about to bust it out the frame. Dancing everywhere, I do the ball Johnson. Get down, take you around, got your mall hopping. You been ballin', baby, this ain't even called shopping. Money get you wet, diamonds get your jaws dropping. You remind me of my 62. I see them subwoofers jumping between them thighs like shoo, black boy, shoo, black boy, shoo, black boy, shoo. Wouldn't mind getting all up in you, girl. I'm about to have you running. I ain't speaking nothing but the truth. I like the way you make that bottom toot up. She make that bottom toot up. I like the way you make that bottom toot up. She make that bottom. I just wanna see you make that bottom toot up. She make that bottom toot up. Make that bottom toot up. She make that bottom. I just wanna see you.
Feelings so deep in my feelings. No, this ain't really like me. Can't control my anxiety. Feeling like I'm touching the ceiling. When I'm with you, I can't breathe. Boy, you do something to me. Ooh, no, I'll never get over you until I find something new that get me high like you do. Yeah. Get me high like you do. Listen to my heart go.
Look. We are just answering questions. You see how they do me? You see how they do me off the earth? Boy, I tell you, everybody talking about, man, you be stirring the pot. I'm just the people want to know. I want people to get fed today. They need to get fed. They need to know, look, you talking about this love thing and you only been in love, for 6-7 months, and now all of a sudden you talking about it's Valentine's Day. Let's fall in love. And Tiffany over here being the church nurse, handing out candy.
You know the ushers, how they do it?
The church nurse handing out candy.
I was asked.
Oh, okay, church nurse. We appreciate it. Boy, she the first lady in the church nurse. This Al. Will there be one? Will there be one? Man, we back right here. Charles gonna get us in trouble.
One of the twins.
Govern yourselves
accordingly. That's our phrase every time. That's our phrase. That in America.
Oh, okay.
We live, man. Back right here on More Music, More Radio. Your street DJ TRKKY. It's couples therapy. That's right, man. We got 2 beautiful couples in the building, man. Look, we just trying to get into their heads and maybe give you a different perspective to help your situation. We don't know what you may be going through. Maybe you still self-loving yourself. As Cece said, they kicked it. They was being friends, while they were still dating other people. But I mean, there was no obligation at that time.
That's right.
So, and we're going to talk about that too, because, people use that word when we exclusively dating. However, if you ain't married, you still single. I'm just saying. We'll marinate on that. So let's get back into it. So, you said something about y'all 2 alpha. I believe in this room there's alpha females, alpha males. So how do y'all deal with that? How do you deal with, is there ever a power struggle, or did each one of you learn that you had to be submissive? Ooh, that's that S word. I didn't cuss y'all out. I just asked the question. I just want to know.
I think it's really not a power struggle because we understand where each other's strengths are. So I think if you understand, like, that person is stronger over here, I can let her be powerful right there. She understands, like, no, that's your world. She can let me be powerful over there. So, just like her world is the beauty industry, the queen beauty. She, 5,000 friends, 300 people waiting.
Well,
she done been on radio shows in Tennessee. She done been on all kind of platforms.
Come on, see what we
so
doing.
I mean, she's well known in the industry, so it's like that's not me. But she come on my world. It's like sports. Industry is everything else under the sun. Mortgage. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that it's like, okay, well, I'll let you handle yours, and you let me handle mine. So it's not really much so of a power struggle. Even when it comes in the household, it's like, well, it's still communication. It's always just communication straight across the board. So it's not really so much of a tug of war type of situation. I may let her win, and she may let me win. So it's kind of a give and take type of situation.
So do you help her with the weaves? And
you know what? I ain't finna play with him.
Somebody turn his mic off.
He
only saying that because he has. I know he has. When he can tell you the numbers, he has.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny though. I'm always at her shop. I'm like, we ain't gonna let me wash some heads and do some perms.
He can't.
Look,
Why not?
You said your industry was sports.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stay this
And mortgages.
Wash your hair ain't hard.
Gonna sell a house and
Don't be limiting my brother.
It no
You just want
limit.
shampoo and condition, that's all.
That's all you want to do.
Yeah, he just want to put a little condition on somebody's head.
I'm gonna need you to put that hand out when you talk.
Okay.
Oh yeah, y'all see it. Woo, shining eyes. Yeah, that's me. Eyes is mad and mad. So with that, with staying in that realm of power struggle, you came into something where you became. I don't believe in the word step. You became father or daddy. Was there ever a power struggle on how you discipline your kids? Did she allow you to not allow? Was she comfortable with you being the man of the house to take care of them, or did y'all come to an agreement or conversation? How did that work?
Well, I think allow is a good word. As a man, you need to understand that what you bring to the table can be pretty disruptive if you let it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because I deal with kids, and I'm a teacher, so understanding emotionally where kids are in their development, that allowed me to understand the family dynamic, look outside looking in. So I didn't want to come in disruptive, although she allowed me to be the man whenever I needed to be a man.
That's what I'm talking
Yes.
And so understanding that, because a lot of folk don't let you.
No.
You know, I've been in relationships where
It's a struggle.
Well, you don't say that to him. Who you talking to?
Tell them, Mom.
I'm talking to both of y'all.
Both of y'all tell them to sit down and be quiet.
Not both. Both.
Both.
Yeah. So, you know, when you in a situation like those, and like I said, that energy's not right, because we function in patterns. So once you establish that pattern, unless there's a situation where you have to switch gears, you're going to stay in that pattern. And so we established some things early on, and I need to let her know. And I sat down with, especially with Kelsey, and I remember in one particular situation, and she had some issues or whatever with a young man, and I said, look, let me tell you something. I ain't your daddy, but I'm going to be the best father that you will let me be.
Yes, sir.
And to this day, we just like this.
Yes, y'all are.
Like this. But that's because she allowed me to be that way. You know, so we don't have a lot of just like power struggles. You know, I got married when I was, you know, a little later in the game, and so a lot of stuff that I saw a lot of my partners go through, I ain't deal with that, cause I was about like making it work.
Right.
I had time for a bunch of foolishness.
Right.
I seen whatever, you know, to be seen. I'm like, now it's time. It's time.
So, Cece, when you came into the situation with Pastor Pretty Reggie, would you say he met your standards or your expectations?
He met my standards. He exceeded my expectations.
Come on, let's talk about it. Hold on, bro. You ain't said I do yet.
And before I get into, I gotta say something too. When he was talking about with the children, because I'm a mother of 2 boys, and I'm a mama. I'm a mama. So when you bring a man into a dynamic, and I've had, and let me say this, I've been a person that have epically failed at bringing a man into a dynamic with my children. I have seen the epic failure. I can tell you what's gonna work and what the red flags are off the muscle. So for me, he was always a friend, so they respected him from him being my friend. But then now, you know, you being my mama friend and y'all come becoming her man and ultimately getting, and you know, now on the road to marriage are 2 totally different things. But I had to allow them to develop their own dynamic. And I told him earlier, and we were having this conversation with my youngest son. I said, had it have not been a cajole with my children, if my sons and them couldn't naturally develop their own dynamic, we would have just remained friends, and the relationship would have been a no-go. Because I had done enough damage by trying to bring a man. And I mean that from a standpoint of this overbearing thing of I'm coming in and I'm the man, you know.
Right.
It's different. You need to sit back and understand the dynamics of the relationship between her and her children, where they're weak or where they're strong at. If you come in overbearing, and boys are already on guard with their mother. So, and it's things that I didn't recognize just because of my age, and just I didn't recognize early on. And now that I've gone through all those things, I can say, no, I know that ain't gonna work.
So you had your own 180.
He had to come in, and it couldn't be me forcing them to congeal.
Yes, ma'am.
I just stepped back and was like, okay, either they gonna come together, and they did. And it wasn't at my doing. They will call him before they call me. That's how much they will literally pick up the phone and call him. And like, please don't tell mama. They will call him before they call me.
I noticed that dynamic at the party.
Right. It's
all
like,
dancing together, having a good time.
And just
chilling.
The friends come in like, what's up?
Say,
they came straight to him. What's up?
We need to talk big time. And I'd be like, y'all need to talk to me now, Miss Sissy. We good. You go, oh, okay. Y'all just talk to me.
So when did y'all know that y'all's relationship had went further than just being friends? When did you know?
In the middle, honestly, in the middle of the shutdown, I hit in the middle of the pandemic, it was about a year out from my sister, it was a year out for his mom. I had a real hard spot. my shutdown, and he helped woo me through that rough spot. Woo me through the anger, and woo me through, come on, you got to get up from here. Come on, we got to move. People, come on, he just kept reminding me of who I was, because for a minute I just kind of like tapped out on a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to do ABCD anymore. And then I would see him struggle too with his mom, losing, what he had gone through, what he was dealing with. So that there helped me realize, okay, there's more to this, and it's a friendship, but the feelings were much deeper, and it just grew from there. So
who recognized it first? I mean, who spoke on it? And I had the same question for you guys too. Like, when was it that you just really realized that this is the person? Red flags and all.
On Danny? You cool. I see your feelings come out, girl. Somebody get her a cold drink. She felt, what? Look, we gotta hurry him get on. We gotta hurry up. You up?
When I knew, I think just from him, he's a very private person.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of reserved, and I can understand, in the beginning, being reserved, but there were things that he started to do that made me feel like, okay, he's really in this for the long haul. Mm-hmm. I think when I really knew that he really wanted to be with me, and it didn't really even matter about having kids or more kids or whatever. We were on the phone one day, and we were talking about kids, and he asked me, he said, well, would you be open to having more kids? And at the time, I was still young enough, now not anymore, but at that time, a little bit older now. I've crossed over. But at the time, I was still young enough to, consider having more kids. And I told him, I said, yeah, I would be open to that. He said, well, if we can, and he said, we. He said, if we can, great. If not, I'm happy with just you and the girls.
Wow, that's big, bro. That's big, bro.
For him to just come out and say that, and there were other things that he would do, just with the kids, like just doing things for them that, when you're dating somebody, it's just, you dating, it's like you're trying to form a relationship, but you're not just going out just doing full-fledged grown folks daddy stuff, with them. He was doing daddy stuff before he had even been really acknowledged daddy, And I said, even though we hadn't really had just a full-fledged discussion about it, but in my mind I was thinking, okay, he really wants to be with us. He really wants to connect and be with our family. And so sometimes it's not always in the things that you say.
It's what you do.
It's what you do. And that was one of the things that I learned most about him, is that he's kind of a silent strength. Sometimes, he's romantic, but yet firm, where he needs to be. Sensitive, but yet he can come in and be diplomatic when you need him to be. And he was just, when you talked about standards and expectations, I was just, in my mind, I was just checking off things on my list. And then I got to a point to where I'm like, Lord, is this just too good to be true? I first met this man when I was 15. I'm like, and you brought this man back to me after all these years. And I'm like, and my prayer was, I said, Lord, if he is the one, show me everything. Show me everything now. I said, Lord, you know what I've been through. Show me everything.
Amen.
And I said, and if he's not the one, I said, you show me that he's not the one. God never showed me. He never showed me anything than what I'm sitting up here looking at right now.
Come on, Agent 007.
It's so funny that you say that, because that was going to be one of my questions. When you had your alone time before marriage came, and you had your alone time, and you and God time. Although you guys had known each other, 15, however old he was, because he didn't disclose it. But
He won't.
Don't
get him in trouble with the people.
What was your conversation as women with God before even knowing this is it? Because we still have that. I don't know, do I? Because you see little things, red flags, orange flags, yellow, whichever color you want to name them. But when did you have the conversation with God? How far were you both into it before you said, okay, God, my heart is getting connected, my feelings are getting involved, I need to see. How far were you into the relationship before, and of course not marriage, but before you went to God and said, hey, talk to me, because I need to know, because I'm about to invest all of me. If I'm going to invest all of me, I need to know now what's happening. So you show me. And then in the flag, did you see, was this flag, I can kind of deal with that. This one, I can't deal with that at all. And did you discuss it? So I know I have a lot of questions in there. I'm sorry.
Come on, how long questions?
Yeah, just pick one.
I can't really give a specific marker as to what what point in the relationship that I went to God, but I'd already prayed and asked God for some things. I had wrote at the end of 2018, coming into 2019, I had written a prayer out to God. I was crying when I was writing it, but there were things that I specifically knew I desired. That I knew was in alignment with what God wanted a man to be in my life. Let me say that. So I didn't go and ask him for a whole bunch of frivolous, things. I asked for specific. I asked, I wanted someone that I knew could understand me from a spiritual perspective, that had a firm foundation in Christ, that wasn't, initiated by me saying something. You understand what I'm saying? I needed my children, my sons, to respect him and have their own dynamic. There were things I asked and prayed to God for, and I put it in the back of a journal, and for some reason I lost the journal somewhere. Well, midway through, but just somewhere in it, I was like, okay, he's showing me things that I know I asked God for, and I found the journal. We moved, and I found the journal. And God took me back to my prayer. And he took me back to what I asked him for, that I knew was according to his will. And I began to go back and say, okay, he's this, he's that. Yes, there were some things that I wanted to see that were not red flags, but that were concerns. And I had to trust God that God was able to take that concern and settle it. You understand what I'm saying? So he took me back to my prayer and what I asked him for. And when we got to a point where we were really progressing, I shared with him what I prayed and asked God for. So he was meeting all of those things without me even having been aware that, go back to your prayer in the specifics of what you asked God for. And that was the way I knew that, okay, this is a move forward. Because in my mind, I can't make no more mistakes. We can't make no more bad decisions. Yeah, we have no more room for error. Because my track record ain't too good right now. Okay. God, I need to win it.
So to the men, with that being said, you heard what your wife said, and your wife said, just because she engaged to your wife. Okay. So when you came into this complete, right? But when you look at your significant other, what do you see in yourself?
It's funny because I don't know if I told Charles this. My niece, when we went out to eat, she said that's the female version of you. And for my for my niece to say that, and my nieces are like heavily guarded, and as far as like how. Because they see me go through a lot of relationships, being in marriage and after marriage, and something that was toxic and just a lot of turmoil, and for them, they say, man, we finally get to have my uncle back. I mean, and it's, and it's a good friend that I talked to actually last night, man. We talked about 2-3 hours. And he said, when I met you probably like in 2004 or 5, I met this jovial, spirited guy. And he said, I finally see that person again. And I was just like, man, you just never know
that you lost yourself.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing is in any relationships, and for people that's listening, man, don't lose who you are, and trying to find someone. She tell her son, Elias, up in Tennessee, we talk to him all the time. Isaiah, we talk to him, when you finding, your mate or you trying to date, don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. Don't allow that person to get you outside of who you are. Because I've been in one where you had someone that's just picking and picking and prying and picking and prying and it's like, what is wrong with you? You are conforming to it, and then the niceness or the caring side of me is always trying to fix somebody who is not my assignment.
To me,
so now we get to the point of in the relationships and even in the friendship, it's like that's not even your assignment. That's not who I even sent for you in the first place. So it goes back to choice.
Right.
So just to answer your question, it's just, when I see her, I do see me. Just like when we was dancing out,
both of y'all pop locking.
I mean, that was a real scene. Like you would have thought they was best friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, so this is why I say that. Because she was in the middle of taking pictures, talking to her homegirl. And all of a sudden he played, I don't know.
Planet Rock.
Planet Rock. Cece took off her shoes and looked at him and was like, what you want? And he looked at her, he like, well, what you want? I'm just like, man, this is cool right now.
And I'm going to tell you, so I
love it.
It's crazy because she has her prayer and everything. We talked about this like on the last show, like when women pray for a person, do we pray for
right.
specifics in a woman? So, God knows the desires of our heart. So like one of my favorite shows is Martin. So I used to always look at the show and I'm like, man, I used to always say, like I want a relationship like that. I want to be able to kind of, to score on my woman and she score on me back.
Man, that is the best thing in the world.
I want to be able to dance and have fun and kick it, but then at the same time when it come down to business, hey, this is X, Y, and Z. Right. When it come down to the word and God, it's X, Y, and Z. That's like a whole just exponential part of the cake. Because when you have somebody who actually knows God and hears from God, and sometimes she say, God told me to tell you this,
right.
That's a whole nother level of a relationship. Because that's just a standpoint of if even when I say God told me to tell you this, that's speechless.
It's amazing.
If I had never got to a place where I got to I said it this morning on the live. I'm finding a space where I know me. I know what I am. I know what I am not. I know where I go, and I know where I don't belong, and I'm okay with that. And she talked about the fact of getting back and knowing her and getting to know herself again. Right. I think a lot of issues that come up in relationships, you have people that don't even know who they are, wanting to connect with somebody, and you looking to find yourself over in another individual. You don't even know who you are outside of that, and so you begin to attract the very thing that you are, and it's really difficult because a lot of times when we deal with, I look back at my past, having been married before and divorced more than once. I am simply attracting the very thing that I was, other broken people. And you don't know you, he don't know him either. So you come together and you two people trying to figure yourself out in a relationship, and that just don't work like that. It doesn't. So you wind up doing damage, and you hurt the people subsequently that are connected to you because you haven't taken the time to get rooted in yourself. If I never got to a place to where I can say I finally know me, who I am in God, everything, and what He's called me to do, then I can't be what I need to be to Him or to any whoever my mate or my partner is, because we're meant to pour into each other, and even the good, the bad. Because I'm not gonna say
you gotta take it out.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So that just goes back to you. Knowing who you are.
So to follow back up what you just said. So my question to you, when was the point that you felt like you was able to get naked in front of her? And I ain't talking about take your clothes off. I'm talking about naked. I'm talking about stuff your boys wouldn't even know. Cause see, I think in my mind, I believe your wife is your best friend.
Come on now.
Your wife is your best friend. If you have a real relationship, I could be out with Waylon, Charles, we kicking it. But I guarantee you, we all married, we gone by 11:30.
That's right.
Because there's some things after 11:30 y'all two can't do. I'm out. Peace. But not even that. You trying to get back to your best friend.
Or when you best friend called and you having a conversation with him, you ain't got to explain to everybody.
There you go.
You know, this is my wife, and everybody, don't
Say, man, go on in there.
Yeah.
Go on in there. Or be like, hey, Cece called you, boy. You need to call her back. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Answer the question, sir.
I think for me, my point was when she told me she need me anymore. We had a situation.
Auntie, did you say it to him like that?
We had a situation, and like you said, I was at one of them crossroad moments, and I'm like, well, I don't know. She said, I tell you what, I don't really need you. I've been doing this by myself for a long time. And I'm like, what? And so I left. And I got in the car. I said, damn. She said she don't need me. I think I love her.
He loved her because she didn't need her. See?
No, sis, at that point, because it was like, I had spent all this time and invested all this time. I'm like, I ain't trying to throw this away.
Man.
Bump that. So I regrouped. I had to tuck my tail between my legs and say, hey, look, partner, I'm in it to win it. And next thing I know, she was paying her deposits. And she rented a vehicle, rented a truck. And we was loading the truck. I was like, dang, this is it. I said, this is it. This is really it. And you had no regrets.
So did y'all? Because the way y'all talking, did y'all happen to live with each other before y'all got married?
No.
Okay, cool. Did y'all live with each other before y'all got married?
Yeah.
Okay. No, ain't no. I'm just wondering. Oh, I know, but see, now I'm asking that because some people we had this conversation. I asked it on the show. You remember,
right?
Because people say, if two people live together and they're not having sex, does that go against what's in the Bible? Because when you read it, it says talks about fornication. Well, then we think two people can't live in the same house and not have sex with each other. I can raise up both my hands and tell you I've done that. So it is possible. And to me, when I lived with her, it helped me learn not to have so many arguments about unnecessary stuff. I knew it. I'm the wash clothes person because I don't like wash clothes on the weekend because I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Right.
I knew if I wash clothes, she's not finna fold. So why? If you done showed me this many times, I'm not gonna have this argument. I got smart. I just put your clothes on your side of the bed. You choose to do what you would do with your clothes. But I washed them, so we good. That was my main point. I'm gonna wash these clothes. I knew when she washed dishes, she was known to leave water in the sink. Aggravation. You got to know that if you know my grandmother. Aggravation. But I knew that's what she was going to do. But so my whole thing within that mindset, we got closer together, we bonded together. I got to know her as my best friend, not my future wife, fiance. That was my road out. And that was it. So I used to be the biggest one against that. But in that situation, that kind of helped me. So that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, it's. I'm saying it's to each his own. It's not like a one size fit all.
Yeah, we were in the middle of a shutdown.
Yeah. Right. I think what people don't understand about marriage is this right here. You two imperfect people on two different destinations trying to get to the same spot.
Man.
Yep.
And so the more I can help her get to that spot, the more fulfilled I'm going to be because I know she's trying to do the same thing. It's some stuff I can't do from her. It's stuff she can't do for me.
Right.
But can you support what that is?
And can I grow with me?
And so, yeah.
I think that's the foundation to a relationship. You come together, you talk about your hopes and dreams. Everybody's on a different path, but at some point, we all want to land the same road together.
And that's what it is. I think of myself of a ball of caution tape. There's some caution that you should come with me. I'm not perfect, But when you get that one person who want to grab your hand and walk through the consultation with you, yeah, that's what you need to be with. Right. So yeah, I get that. See, so man, boy, y'all done got deep and y'all learning something. Look, I'm telling y'all, this is why I want to do the couple therapy, cause especially these two, I know they are very seasoned, and after what I seen at the party. First, let me publicly say congratulations, brother. I am definitely happy for you. You have, in the words of coming to America, you have got your queen, my brother.
Queen.
She's the queen.
Now you got to leave here to the side, queen. You came out and clapped to the side.
Last question. So my question is, my question is.
I was gonna get to it, but
you was gonna get to it.
Go ahead. We got time.
Okay. So my question is, do you think it's fair to pull your significant other's coattail, husband and wife, your significant other's coattail, once they set a standard in your relationship and then change it? I mean, are you free to go to him and he allows you to be able to go to him and say, hey, you set this standard by always washing my car, by always sending flowers? Or you can come to her and say, you used to cook every day. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't feel free to be able to say, hey, you set this standard here, and I'm now used to this standard. What happened to it? So do you guys feel free to be able to say that to one another? Because I know a lot of couples don't have that freedom or feel like they don't have that freedom.
They feel attacked.
Yeah, I feel comfortable in doing that. I mean, I think that, I don't care how long you've been together, I think that at some point in your time together, you should always check in. You should just do a checkup. I mean, I will just ask him, just point blank, at least once a year. Hey, boo, you still happy? You happy? Are you good? I mean,
but auntie, if he said, keep on with your answer, but I'm gonna add this to it. If he said, how do you take it? Like, do you consume it in the wrong way?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm very analytical. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I probably did kind of slack off on that. Maybe I need to, do something, different or whatever. Or maybe I need to go back to the days when I used to do such and such. But, and I say we're getting older. I mean, I'm 50. He's 55. He's a few years older than me. But, we... but I feel like we're young at heart, and we enjoy one another. But I feel like we have the type of, not just marriage, but friendship and relationship where we can come and say, okay, you may not be meeting the mark on this. What changed? This is how I feel. And I may not say it in that way, but I may just say, I really feel like, something is going on. This is how I feel about this. What do you think? This is how I'm seeing it. Do you notice a difference in this or this, that, and the other? And he'll chime in and he'll say, well, no or whatever, or he may say yes, but we'll have a discussion about it, And I feel like that if you've been in a relationship for, any amount of year, 2 or whatever, I think it's just good to just check in and just see where your partner is and what they're feeling, and because I think it's just only fair. Because you can go along, and the next thing you know, you're taking each other for granted.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You think that, he's okay, and you come to find out he's not okay, and vice versa.
Well, not that you don't want to, you're not in the right place, so you don't want to go ask your significant other, because they may say the same thing, and then now you're at this point of, okay, I'm not happy. What if he's not happy too? So it's easy for me to fake the funk versus just really finding out, because you don't want to rustle anybody's feathers. And I think so many people stay married for so long because nobody wants to have that conversation. That 10 years ago, you really 25, 28, but 18 years ago, I realized I was unhappy.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe it. I think you should have, like I always say at the end of it, do it like they do with a job, hey? And on the 31st,
Interview review.
Have an annual review.
Yeah.
What's your annual review? And my thing is this: when you have your annual review, you got to bring them out. You bring to the table 3 things that you didn't like that I did. You got to bring me one goal of your 2 goals that you want to accomplish, and 1 goal you want us to accomplish. Now, when I'm telling you about these 3 things I didn't like, the thing is, there's no rebuttal. I just need you to listen.
Listen, sir.
I just need you to listen.
here's my thing. I think at every point in time, I don't care if it's your personal life or your relationship, you have to be able to assess what's happening.
That's right.
That's right.
And you have to have a point to where you evaluate what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There may be some things in her that she's dealing with, but, this is not a selfish thing. If I know if something ain't going right with me, I'm going to project that on her.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's not fair. So I ain't talking about like, okay, well, we didn't go out to eat for 2 Fridays, so you mad at me. It ain't nothing like, as you grow older, it's a lot of stuff you used to do in a relationship when you were younger. It don't even, like that rib recipe I forgot how to make. Don't sweat me with that no more. You know what I'm saying? Just
don't look at him like that, Auntie.
Wait a minute. That's a sensitive subject because those ribs sure work.
I know.
Wait a minute.
Why so sensitive? Because that man now,
This
that man
man
now in the kitchen. Look.
Okay, this, I'm already, like crazy about him, but when he showed me those ribs, there's a whole story behind that. It may be too long for the segment, but
So we're gonna have a little fun, and then I gotta have my brother do his last word. So we're gonna have a little fun.
Okay.
So they play this little game. We're at a wedding, so we're gonna play a little game here, right? So we're gonna start it out. Who said I love you first?
He said I love you first.
Who paid for the first date?
I did.
I think I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Who kissed who first?
We did.
Yeah, we did. We did.
It was mutual.
It was a mutual agreement.
Well, who beat me first?
Who came 90? Who came the other 10?
It was kind of like just a look, and you was like, okay,
Yeah. It was like
This is going down.
Yeah, it's going down
It was
right
like,
now.
okay,
This is happening
we
now.
see. Okay, you ready? You ready?
You give him the eye like,
Knowing y'all probably did it just
we
like
really
that.
did.
You ready?
Oh, okay,
Come
we
on,
doing this.
lean up. I need you to situate yourself. Oh, hey man, this has been fantastic for me. But we can't leave here without my brother. Can you play that?
Come on, Pastor Bree.
So we have this thing that we do, and I can't leave without him doing it, of course. Oh man, everything done messed up. We're gonna play this, see. But we call it the last word, the word of the day. And we always have this word of the day with Pastor Reggie. Pretty Pastor Reggie. I know I was missing a P. I made up the name. I can't even get it right. Pastor Pretty Reggie. Please, can we get that word of the day, brother?
Shot time.
This is.
Oh, Lord. Here she go. Look, I got talked bad to last time. I didn't hear the word. See, I'm sorry.
Okay. Come on, word of the day.
Go ahead, brother.
What's funny is I had something that I wrote, but I'm gonna say that for Wednesday. Being that I got my ministerial queen over here.
Come on,
ministerial
queen.
It's we're gonna tag team on something.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So I already know where she's gonna kind of catch me where I'm going.
Gotcha.
So what's funny is like at the at a party and when I was doing a proposal, it was a song that was played. So the title of this is called "Sweet Dream," sweet love. I'm sorry, sweet love from Anita Baker. So when Anita Baker, towards the end of the song, she said, "Sweet love, hear me calling out your name. I feel no shame. I'm in love. Sweet love, don't ever go away. I'll always be this way." Then she goes off and says, "There is no stronger love in this world. Oh baby, no. You're my man, and I'm your girl. I'll never go. Wait and see. Can't be wrong." But here's the thing right here. What really, honestly, and I can be mad enough to say I've been crying on this last question right here. It says, "Don't you know this is where you belong?" So, when you really understand, and that's what really made the leap, because I felt like this is where I belong.
Yes, sir.
So when you get off into fitting puzzle pieces and off into a puzzle, don't try to force the piece off into the puzzle. Your piece is actually meant for another puzzle. It's not meant for this puzzle. So my leap and my jump made me actually realize this is where I belong. So when I get off into a deserving standpoint, at the fact of when you realize that you don't deserve something is when you actually lose the victory. When you feel like you don't have any kind of deserving characteristic, you lose the victory because we all deserve something. You deserve her, and he deserves vice versa. I deserve her, she deserves me. So when you get off into the point of not feeling like you deserve anything, you deserve to be happy, that's when you lose the victory. So what was we talking about earlier as far as
talking about worthiness, and that goes back in direct correlation when God says we're worthy. And we're worthy because the blood redeems us, and he makes us worthy. No matter how messed up we are, God says you're worthy, and you're worthy to receive all that I have for you. And even in relationships and with the person that we're meant to be with, we are worthy to have all that God has said it belongs to us in someone, with someone in life, whether it's in business and in ministry, relationships. We are worthy of all those things. So deserving and worthy to me work hand in hand. And then he talked about the piece about fitting into a puzzle. A lot of us spend so much time trying to fit in a puzzle that was not designed for us. We have a God-ordained puzzle that our piece belongs to. So it is for us to get in tune with him and find out, God, where does my piece belong? Because half the battle of life is you over here in this puzzle, you over here on that puzzle. No, you were never meant to be on any of those puzzles. God has a God-ordained puzzle, and you're the missing piece to that one puzzle. And it's for us to get there and like you said, finally, it's like
find out where you belong.
Find out where you belong.
Come on.
In the midst of when you find out to belong is when you trust the trainer.
Come on, trust the trainer.
Come on, trust the trainer.
Trust the trainer.
That's our new word. We trust the trainer.
Trust the trainer.
I love my brother. I love Charlie keeping us from me and you. Hey man, look, this has been fruitful for me. I hope it's been fruitful for our audience. Before we leave, I do want to say on behalf of the crew, thank y'all for coming. We truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. You're more than welcome all the time, CC. We do this thing called the last word, so I'm gonna let you have your last word from the show. And thank you for being here. And congratulations, love.
Put me on the spot now. I just went
So it's all right. You good? You good? Whatever come to your mind. It can be real short. How they say at the funeral, 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes.
You gonna stand up when I get over?
I'm gonna cut the mic out.
Come on, just I'm sorry, my mic not on no more. No, we were having a conversation before we started the show, and we were talking about forgiveness. And one of the fundamentals of being able to get in a place where we are able to receive all that God has for us is going back to a fundamental of forgiveness. A lot of times what halts us from being able to fully flourish and experience the victory, experience the freedom and the love, the progression, the growth is for my ability to forgive others that have wronged us. Forgiveness keeps us stuck. It keeps us stagnant. It keeps us stuck in a place that was never meant for us to. So we talked about being able to forgive even if there's no apology, if nobody ever recognizes that they did what was wrong. They didn't have that great aha moment and say, you know what, I realize you are obligated to forgive. And oftentimes that is the beginning phase of healing, and for God to really move us into what's really ours. That's that thing that's holding us back, is I need you to release this. You're holding on to all that and you're not able to move forward. So I just want to admonish someone today to make a conscious decision to give it to God, forgive, and say, you know what, I am going to let this go. That goes back to trusting the trainer. God is the great trainer, so we're trusting him with all things, and forgiveness is it. So that's my last
Come on, CC. Hey, I already tell you. I'm gonna tell y'all now, I am planning our women's empowerment along with my brother Antoine. You done heard one speaking, and the other one is sitting in this corner.
Come on, corner.
Yes, sir.
He's the fine representative of Kappa Alpha Psi. Unfortunately, nephew's fine representative of that A5. But than that, brother, I want to say thank you. Of course, you had your last word, sir.
My last word would be authenticity. I think the more authentic we are, the more God reveals things to us. It's like stepping into refined fire. You cross them sands, bro. You cross them sands, you come
burning
on the other side. It got to make you different, right? God continues to allow us to walk through sands every day. We just need to understand what He's trying to get us to. Sometimes we get clouded by roadblocks and all kind of stop signs and yield signs or whatever, but we got to keep progressing because He has something bigger and better for each and every last one of us.
Yes, sir.
But we got to see that.
Yes, sir.
We got to see that and walk in the authenticity that God has designed us to be. There's nobody like us. We're all different snowflakes, how we want to say it or whatever. My kids say that all the time in school. But what that means is that we can only be the best we can be. And when we strive to do that, God's going to continuously reveal some stuff to us.
Yes, sir.
We are all flawed in something, some way, shape, form, or fashion. But through God's blood, He perfects us.
Absolutely.
He perfects us. Not that we're perfect, but we're perfect in Him.
Come on.
And because that perfection we have in Him, He allows us to shine a light onto other people and allow them to see where God wants them to be as well. And that's why I love being married, because we sharpen each other.
Yes, sir.
When I'm sick, when I'm sick, she's my medicine. You know what I'm saying? When I'm sad, when she's sad, I'm her handkerchief. You see what I'm saying? So understanding that God has sharpened us for just as a time as this right here.
Yep.
We are here because God has orchestrated this time.
Yep.
So we got to be authentic.
Well, you better go home and love my uncle tonight.
I'm gonna rub his
We're gonna pass the offering.
Some money towards my lashes.
Look, and I'm kind of scared to ask Auntie, but come on, Auntie, we get you. Well, first of all, you know, I love you dearly. We go way back. We didn't even know we was family when we first met. I met her doing DJing the event, and I showed up a tad bit late. Just to say I wasn't late to nothing else. She wasn't mad, but that whole face said too many words. But ever since then, we have been family. Kelsey, my youngest sister. So I've grown with them, got to watch them. So I love these two like the back of my hand. But my bad. Go ahead, Auntie.
My word is just, it's okay to invest in yourself. Pour into yourself. Pour God's word into yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you pour God's word into yourself, you can be a light to others. You can be a light in your relationship. Because as we all know, that the Lord is that third cord that bonds us all together. But I think sometimes people get, they get lost, like you said, they get lost in the person. One thing that I would like for people to take away from this is that never lose sight of yourself, not in a selfish way. But do remember that you are an individual as well. That person fell in love with you because of the individual that you are.
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't mean that you become that person. But you're two different people that come together that bring just a wealth of knowledge and love and power together. God is bringing you together for a reason. And so one of the things that I love most about Him is that when we come together, it's power. There's power in the room. There's power among our friends. There's influence among our friends, and that's because we're so in tune together. But if He didn't take the time to invest in Himself, if I don't take the time to invest in me, when we come together, we won't have that power.
Yes, ma'am.
So my word is self-investment. Self-investment, because you're never going to really be able to you're never going to see your relationship truly flourish until you get yourself straight. Because your partner is not the blood that runs through your veins. They're just the icing on the cake.
That's right.
But you're the cake.
You're
the cake.
Woo, let me write this down.
You're the cake, and you have to realize that it's okay. But that person is meant to complement you, not necessarily complete you, but to complement you, and together in that power in God and the Holy Spirit, and just binding together, you just bring power into the world. You bring power into your children. You bring power into other couples that you come in contact with. I can truly say that, we try to live our lives as an example to other couples, as well as what you see is what we live. And that's so important, because people see the love that exudes off of you guys. I mean, when you get married, before you get married, you just exude the love. And we do the same thing. People know that there's love in our home. They see it in our children. Even though we have a blended family, but there's love.
Absolutely. But
we've taken the time to invest in ourselves. And we're better for it.
Woo! Well, look, I don't know about y'all at the house, but whole lot of us gotta get up out of here because this is finna get real emotional. No, man, this has been thrilling for me. I have been waiting to do this. We're gonna do something else like this in the future. You know, I man of many ideas, but you know, I just, you know, you have to do them. Well, that's true. Look, Tiffany experience. She talking about you be popping them out. Say when I'm at home, y'all think I'm just at home chilling. Trust me, I am always thinking of a master plan. But yes, truly from the full 180 and More Music Radio, we appreciate y'all coming out, taking the time to give us your knowledge. I love the perspective. This is my thing. This is why I like conversation. Don't text me, email me, call me. Let's have a conversation. This is what we do with the full 180. And this thing that you were saying, I was like, CC done had our own full 180. So I see why the Lord brought my brother to me. But we appreciate you every Monday and Wednesday for letting that brother in. Look, on behalf of the crew, man, we're going to get out of here. We know we over. We know we started a little late, but I could not let you go away without missing this. Once again, you know, we're right here at More Music Radio. Catch us on Wednesday. We'll be right here with the whole crew. Dr. B is feeling good, so she got a little psychological tip. And happy Black History Month to everybody. It's the first day of it. So during our shows, we're going to have a now and then segment. We're going to talk about what was going on, then and now. I think what was going on then and what's going on now amongst our Black history. Not the ones you hear at the house or whatever. We're going to go a little deep with it. Talk about somebody you don't know. Man, but other than that, catch us Wednesday right here at 9 p.m. when we're going to talk about why family ain't family no more. That's what we're going to discuss. Other than that, you know, I live by two mantras. Faith and fear cannot dwell in the same place. And while you on this side, until you reach the other side, always love, live, laugh. Until next time, right here, More Music More Radio, DJ Tricky on behalf of the Cast Full 180. We'll see you on Wednesday. We out. Holla. Let's go, Caesar.
Don't know. Every time I move, I lose. When I look, I'm in. And every time I turn around, I'm back in love again. Back in love. When you put your arms around me, I feel so satisfied. I want to love you forever. I can't decide. Every time I move, I lose. When I look, I'm in. Every time I turn around, I'm back in love again. Back in love again. All right. Seems like back in love again. I guess I just don't ever want it to end. Every time I move, I lose. When I look, I'm in. Every time I turn around, I'm back in love again. Back in love again. Seems like I'm back in love again. Oh yeah. All right.
this bad, cause I said sorry way too much. This time sorry's ain't enough. And now she's gone, and it's only now that I realize how much she means to me. Cause I could lose a car, even body parts, still outlive, but still can't live without the love of my life. And everybody knows money comes and goes, there's never enough.